Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, and today I would like to do the Oracle card reading for the month of July for the fire signs, and that is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. I read through my intuition, and so what comes up may not be exactly what is on the cards or the meaning officially. And the way I like to do my readings in this situation is there is a guide for every week, there is a message from source, and the tarot will give us a lesson or challenge to work on for that week. So that's how I like to do my readings. And since there's a little bit of an overlap of 2 days on the first week, we're going to start actually for the 3rd of July is the first week in this situation, just to make it easier, and that means there are 4 weeks in July. So if you're interested in any of the cards that I am using, they are listed in the description below. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave those in the comments section, and like and subscribe if this is something that you are interested in. And when I say this is for fire signs, it's for your sun sign of Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. Or if you've had your charts done, there is a section on your elemental balances. So the positive messages are for the aspects of your fire, and if it is a low area in your chart, it is the challenge that is what might be coming your way. So it's not just about the sun sign of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And on that note, let's get started with the first guide for the first week of July 2022 for the fire signs. And I'm using, this deck is the Crystal Mandala deck. I'm using the Gratitude Oracle deck for the message from source, and the Fairy Tarot as your challenge or lesson. So your first guide for the first week, if I can get it to show up there, is the Ascended Master Kuthumi and Moss Agate. It's the sacred ecosystem. The universe provides me with spiritual energy and charismatic magnetism to attract all beings in need of my light so I can fulfill my highest destiny as a healing presence in this world. I accept my place in the greater divine scheme, embracing supportive connections in the spiritual worlds and in the material worlds, with the understanding that my fulfillment and the fulfillment of all beings is divinely intertwined. I give myself permission to plug in and receive. So your guide for this first week of July 2022 fire signs is really trying to get you to shine your light, to be okay with being a leader or a teacher in a spiritual path. It's also about shining your light in the mundane world, if you want to call it that. It's stepping out and being okay with having other people appreciate you or see you as the leader that you really are born to be. It's also about not hiding your talents, your skills, and your abilities. So this is really about stepping into the power that you know you have, and that power can be as a teacher or a leader. And they're being really specific with the teacher. I keep hearing that really loud. So if you are looking at maybe starting a course or expanding your education towards teaching, this would be a good time to really examine this, and having that moss agate as a stone to carry in your pocket or work with while you're doing this type of research for this first week of July. Now, your message from source is acceptance. And this card is really talking about source wants you to understand, and that's how I reference God, divine energy, wants you to understand that you're here to change the world, but also to accept the things that you can't change actively. And when you accept them, you're not saying that this is the way it's supposed to be. It's saying that is not my path at the moment. That is someone else's path. So I'm going to accept that that person is going to be able to handle that situation without my interference at this moment in time. So this first week is really about understanding that it's okay to not be able to solve everyone's problems, to accept the things that have happened because they've brought you to where you are now, and be able to embrace the future that has been able to be built because of your past. So your lesson or challenge for this first week is the King of Autumn. Compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, and gifted. Be assertive when it comes to what you know is right. Everything is going your way. A good person or company to work for. So this really does tap back into that moss agate from the year as your guide this week, because it's really about stepping into that power. So if you've been feeling kind of wishy-washy, or maybe just not up to snuff, or feeling like I should speak up, or I could do this, maybe I should start that online business or start that side business, what this is really saying is embrace your confidence. So this first week is really about accepting your gifts, really tapping into that strength that you carry and that fire of getting things started. That is the one thing with you fire signs is you like to get things going, and so this first week of July is all about getting things moving for you and embracing the things that are happening and why they've happened and all that fun stuff. And yeah, that's a technical term. So your second week for July 2022 fire signs, and the guide is the goddess Pele and lava. It says, I drop into my heart, welcoming awareness of my deepest soul desires. I allow myself to be moved by my heart, igniting my higher purpose through sacred passion. My heart's desire carries the genuine magnetic attraction effortlessly pulling into my world all that is needed for spiritual fulfillment and that benefits all beings. I am deeply motivated by what moves my heart, and I allow that divine consciousness to flow through me, unimpeded, transforming inner visions and creative expressions into real world. I allow the love transmission. So this actually is really good because you as a fire sign, obviously lava is fire, it's liquid stone. So tapping into that fiery passion, the first week of July was all about accepting and maybe stepping out and doing your research and getting ready to really move forward and push those plans into action. This second week is really looking into tapping into the divine energy and igniting that spark within you so that you can really step into that. Because you've made the plans and now it's the action part of it. Well, if you're moving in action on your own power alone, it's going to have stumbling blocks, it's going to be a little bit of frustration. But if you tap into that divine energy from God's source spirit, it's really going to ignite that fire and really take off. So this first week or the second week is all about tapping into that energy of goddess Pele. And if you have access to it, carrying a form of lava stone, you can also carry obsidian because it's very similar in nature, not quite the same, but similar. And just use that as a stone to carry with you for this week. Now, your message from Source is choices. So as you're developing this plan and you're getting that divine fire and that creativity, and you feel that really drive to get going, it's all about your choices as to how things play out. So as you're doing it, you don't want to make multiple choices about multiple things. You're scattering your energy too thin, and you won't be able to sustain it. So it's about picking the choices, picking those things that are really going to support your end goal. Pick the choices that are going to help support you and help bring about a higher energy around you so that other people can grow with you, because as fire signs, you are kind of the examples and the stimulators of all the other signs. And so when you are feeling vibrant and you're feeling alive and you're picking those choices that's really making you glow, everyone around you will feel that warmth. But if you get too much or you get too aggressive with your decisions, you'll burn those people and you'll chase them away. So there's a balance that has to be maintained, but that's what the choices are, and the choices are really in your hands. So your lesson or challenge for the second week of July is the 8 of Spring. Stress that comes from having many things happening at once, successful multitasking, sudden events or changes. And this really does actually define the message. The message from Source is all about you have a lot of choices to make. Choose wisely. And the Eight of Spring is saying, don't scatter your energy too much and don't try to juggle everything. Make decisions on the things that you can make your decisions on, and if you can't quite reach that level of decision, let it go. So it's all about, your challenge is picking your battles, basically, saying this is something I'm willing to fight for, that is not, I'm not worried about that anymore, and moving forward from that point. Now let's move on to the third week of July 2022 for fire signs. It looks like you're going to have an interesting guide for this third week. The cards are not giving it up. Let's cut the deck one more time just to make sure that we're all mixed in here. There we go. And the card for, or your guide and stone for this third week of July is the Goddess Rhiannon and Amazonite. If I can get the... I'm working on a new camera. I listen deeply to the truths of my heart. I create harmonies between my intentions, my words, and actions. I make promises that honor my soul based on the wisdom of my heart. I make decisions with courage and boldness. I act with respect for spiritual wisdom. I recognize the power within me, which I surrender into inspired service for the greater good. I have the strength of character needed to live in integrity with my own heart. I emanate peace and grace. So, this third week is all about being honest with yourself and with others. And when I say be honest, it's not just about telling the truth. It's also about being honest with, is this something that I'm actually going to do? Is this something that I can sustain? Have I put too many irons in my fire? This third week is all about, you've developed a plan, you're starting to feel that fire, you're moving forward, and now it's, how can you sustain it? Or if it's too much, what can you cut out? So if you can find Amazonite, and it's a beautiful green stone, it's got some shimmers in it, a lot like a moonstone almost, but it's definitely worth carrying with you, and just helping you find that balance of what does work, what doesn't work, and being honest even when no one else is watching, because that's a huge part of that integrity part. But that's the guide for the third week. Now let's see what your message from Source is. And that is commitment. So as your guide is helping you understand how to sustain the things that you've gotten started, that planning, that fire that's building up, now sustain it. This message is saying you have the ability to form this commitment. You have within you the ability to really hold on to this and move it forward and stay committed and focused on your plan. And what this card is really saying is you have the energy of Source coming in to support you. You have your guides and the elemental fire coming in to support you as you're building this momentum and really getting these plans moving. So it really looks like this third week is all about that forward motion. The first week was about planning, the second week was about building the inspiration, and this third week is all about basically get yourself going. And your challenge or lesson for this third week is the Seven of Summer. No more procrastinating. Your power comes from making decisions, confusion that arises from over-analyzing your options. So during the second week, it was all about making choices and deciding what works, what doesn't work. This week is all about thinning it out. Don't worry about the things you didn't decide on. Don't worry about the stuff you didn't choose. Let other people make their own decisions. If they come to you for advice, great, give it to them. If they don't interfere. But it's all about knowing your limits and your boundaries and being okay and accepting them, which is a little bit difficult when you want to help and take care of and work through for everyone else. That what the challenge for this third week is, know when it's time to say no and when to walk away. And that's definitely a challenge in some cases. So, on to the fourth week of July 2022 for fire signs. July 2022 fire signs. Elemental fire, bring me the answer. There we go. Okay, it is Ascended Master Lady Nada and rhodochrosite, which is a very, very brilliant pink stone. It is sensitivity. My devoted heart is willing, conscious, clear channel for spiritual grace. My growing sensitivity empowers me to experience the loving presence of the divine, to become a living light with tremendous compassion. My sensitivity increases in perfect harmony with my abilities to process subtle energies and generate a protective field of spiritual light around me. I claim the space that I need to process my experience and thrive. There's a period there. I trust what I sense and I respond with wisdom. It is safe and wild and startling and beautiful to be sensitive soul with a higher awareness. So it's actually a kind of a winding down energy almost, but it's all about being comforting and soothing. So you made your plans in the first part of the month. You really built that fire and then got the inspiration in the second. The third week was finding that balance, and now it's all about being the supportive leader. The first week was all about figuring out that you are the leader and that you can do this. And what this guide and stone are coming up to say is, now that you've got your plan, you're starting to move forward on it, you have the ability to be a compassionate leader, and it's okay to have those sensitive parts of you, because that sensitivity is not actually a weakness, it's actually a strength. Because when you shut off completely from emotions, it actually can slow you down. Being tapped in and being aware of what your actions are and how to improve upon your own actions to help your other teammates grow in their actions. So it's being sensitive and aware. And if you haven't developed a spiritual practice, it's maybe time to start through meditation, through reading a holy text, and starting to develop that as a daily practice is what they're saying. So your message from Source for this fourth week is believe, which ties right into your guide and stone for the fourth week is believe, because the guide is all about helping you find that spiritual connection and being sensitive to the needs of others and balancing that with the needs of what you're planning and what your goals are. But to believe is to believe in yourself, believe in the group you're working with, but also to reconnect on a stronger level with your spiritual practice, because the divine heart of God is how we move forward in life. We don't really do anything outside of that kind of energy. And so this is reminding you just that God source energy is there, and that it just requires your belief and faith to really work miracles in that respect. So let's look at your challenge or lesson for this fourth week of July. It is the Queen of Autumn. Generous, stylish, gracious, and practical. Be practical with respect to how you proceed, the ability to make anything more beautiful, meeting someone who can help your dreams come true. So this ties into your belief in your group and in your belief in God source energy, because this is saying you can be generous, and the more generous you are, not to the point of hurting yourself obviously, but the more generous you are and the more that you're willing to work with people, you're actually going to develop a really close working relationship in that respect. But you're also going to be gracious with your time, be gracious with your spiritual practice. And it's also talking about bringing somebody in through this process that is on the same wavelength as you, someone who can support you and work with you to move forward, which fire doesn't tend to want to share very much, but this card is really talking about open up to that ability and that idea of sharing, because it really will help you overall expand what you're doing. So let's look at the overall theme for the month of July. And for you fire signs, it is Angel Raziel and Pierre I'm really bad with that name. And it is Storm Wisdom. I am one with the storm of creative divine chaos that precedes the birth of a new reality. I am cleansed and cleared of what has been. I open with a wild heart to what must be for the soul to thrive and love, to grow. With faith in spirit and my soul, I willingly enter into the process of transformation. Goodness and healing shall come from what is happening in my life. I trust the divine beauty that is destined for me. So, for your overall theme, it's really about Archangel Raziel is kind of a chaos angel. And I'm not exactly sure what that stone is. But it's all about bringing forward that chaos, shaking up the world with your energy and what you know. This month has been about planning, and it lays out a plan of figure out what you want, build the fire, cut the stuff that doesn't work, but be compassionate. And this final message, or this final guide, is all about let's shake things up. There's things that have settled, and it's time to move forward and really move things into a more positive way, because the current order isn't working, is what the message is for fire signs. Your overall month message for message from source, is effort. So this is not going to be strictly a mental exercise for you, fire signs. This is all about putting in the effort, the time, and the knowledge. You've gained knowledge in different areas of your life, and right now, this month of July is all about bringing it together and really forming that goal and then moving into it with full speed ahead type thing. Be aware of the road bumps, and that's what we're about to look at, but it's the effort that you put forward is going to be the reward you get back. Now, your overall lesson or challenge is the world. And this is a major arcana, so this is a life lesson for you. A brilliant success, the freedom to go in any direction, a journey that is now complete. And the journey that they're saying is complete is you have done all of this work and this prep. You've researched it, you've thought about it, you've poked at it, and now it's all about this month, move forward. You've done the back work, you've done the prepping, and that part is complete, and now it's time to move forward and accept the success, even if it's a small success to begin with. Be open and proud, and not so much, not braggadocious, but be proud in that humble pride of, look at what I've created, look how you've helped me create this. It's all about spreading that pride in work well done, but also accepting it yourself. So, hopefully that resonates for you, fire signs. And if you like what I'm doing here, hit the like and subscribe. And if you have suggestions, you can feel free to comment me below. Just be respectful, please. And other than that, I will talk to you guys in a future video.